The day I lost my job, my boss smiled and said, "You should have known how this works." 2 years later, I stood in the same office, signed one document, and became the new owner of the company. The look on his face was worth every sleepless night, every insult, and every betrayal I had endured. But to understand why, you need to know how my own family helped destroy my life before unknowingly setting me on the path that changed everything. Growing up, I was always the invisible child. My younger sister Melissa could do no wrong. If she failed an exam, my parents blamed the teachers. If I came home with straight A's, they would shrug and ask why I wasn't first in every subject. "Your sister needs more encouragement," Mom always said. "You're strong, she isn't," Dad would add. Being strong somehow meant I had to sacrifice everything. I worked part-time throughout college, graduated at the top of my class, and landed an analyst position at a fast-growing investment company. Melissa. She dropped out twice, spent money like it grew on trees, and somehow still lived like a princess because my parents kept rescuing her. Every month they called. "Honey, Melissa's behind on rent. Can you help your sister? You know she's sensitive." Eventually, I was paying part of her rent, her phone bill, and even her car insurance. No one ever thanked me. Then my boss entered the picture. His name was Richard. At first, he seemed supportive. "You've got potential," he'd tell me. He gave me difficult projects, praised my reports in meetings, and hinted that promotion season would be good for me. I believed him. One Friday afternoon, he walked into my office. "Wear something nice tonight." I looked confused. "For what?" "Dinner." "Is the whole management team going?" He smiled. "No, just you and me." Something about his expression made my stomach tighten. "I appreciate the invitation," I replied carefully, "but I'd rather keep our relationship professional." His smile disappeared instantly. "You sure about that?" "Yes." He nodded slowly. "Interesting." Monday morning, HR called me in it. "We've decided you're not a good cultural fit." I stared at them. "What?" "We are terminating your employment effective immediately." No warning. No performance review. No explanation beyond meaningless corporate phrases. When I got home carrying my belongings in a cardboard box, I expected sympathy. Instead, my parents looked irritated. Dad sighed. "You couldn't just go to dinner?" "What?" Mom folded her arms. "Richard is your boss. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices." "You think I should have gone?" Dad laughed. "Stop acting so dramatic." Melissa actually rolled her eyes. "I would have gone. That's how successful people network." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had lost my career because I refused something that felt deeply wrong, and my own family blamed me. Then came the demand that completely shattered whatever hope I still had. Dad leaned forward. "Will you do it?" I blinked. "What?" "Melissa and her husband want to buy a bigger house." "You want me to sell my home for her?" "It's family." I looked from one face to another. No one was joking. Mom said quietly, "You've always managed on your own. Melissa needs help more than you." That sentence changed something inside me. For the first time in my life, I said one simple word. "No." The silence felt explosive. Dad slammed his hand on the table. "After everything we've done for you?" I almost laughed. "What exactly have you done for me?" That night, they told relatives I had become selfish after losing my job. Family members flooded my phone. "Help your sister. Your parents sacrificed everything. Don't be so cold." Within a week, I had become the family villain. Money disappeared quickly. I sold my car, moved into a tiny apartment, worked freelance financial consulting online while sending out hundreds of applications. Most companies rejected me because Richard had quietly destroyed my professional reputation. I later discovered he'd been telling employers I was difficult to work with. I felt trapped. Then everything changed. One evening, an old senior manager from my previous company called. I know what really happened. I froze. What do you mean? Richard has done this before. What? You're not the first woman he invited to private dinners. My heart stopped. There were others? Several. They all left quietly. He paused. But one of them kept evidence. That single sentence changed everything. Over the next few months, more former employees came forward. Emails, messages, witness statements, patterns. Richard wasn't firing people because they lacked talent. He was eliminating anyone who refused his personal advances. The company's board had never known. Meanwhile, I accepted a position at a small investment startup. Unlike my old workplace, they valued results. I worked harder than ever. Late nights, weekends, new certifications. Within 18 months, I became the youngest executive partner. Then an unbelievable opportunity appeared. Our startup entered negotiations to acquire several struggling businesses. One name nearly made me spill my coffee. Richard's company. Years of lawsuits, bad leadership, and financial losses had destroyed its value. The board wanted out. Because I led acquisitions, I became part of the negotiating team. Richard didn't recognize my name until we walked into the conference room. His face turned white. You. I smiled politely. Good morning. He tried acting confident. You won't be making decisions. Our board will. I simply slid my business card across the table. It listed my title, Managing Partner. His hands started shaking. During due diligence, our legal team uncovered even more evidence of misconduct. The board immediately launched an internal investigation. Richard was suspended before the acquisition was finalized. Weeks later, he was terminated. Then our company completed the purchase. On the day ownership officially transferred, I signed the final documents. The employee who had once been escorted out carrying a cardboard box now owned the building. Word spread quickly. Local business news covered the acquisition. LinkedIn exploded with congratulations. That's when my family suddenly remembered I existed. Mom called crying. We're so proud of you. I said nothing. Dad awkwardly laughed. We always knew you'd make it. Really? Because I remembered every cruel word. Melissa showed up at my office unannounced. I need a favor. I almost smiled. What kind? My husband lost his job. I heard you're hiring. I looked directly into her eyes. We only hire qualified applicants. She understood exactly what I meant. Weeks later, there was a large charity gala celebrating the acquisition. Many former employees attended. Some recognized me immediately. One woman hugged me with tears in her eyes. You gave us justice. Another whispered, "Thank you for not giving up." Even members of Richard's former executive team publicly apologized for ignoring warning signs. My parents attended the event after somehow getting invitations through distant relatives. I overheard Dad telling people, "She's our daughter." Someone nearby quietly replied, "Funny, we never heard you talk about her before she became successful." His face burned with embarrassment. For the first time, they experienced the same public humiliation they had forced me to carry for years. They apologized again before leaving. The real apologies this time. Not because they finally understood my pain, because everyone else finally saw the truth. I accepted their words, but I didn't give them another chance to control my life. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reopening the door. Sometimes it simply means putting down the weight and walking away. Today, I lead a company built on respect instead of fear. Employees know promotions come from talent, not favoritism. People are judged by their work, not by how willing they are to please someone in power. As for Richard, he became a cautionary tale in corporate circles. As for Melissa, she finally had to build her own life without using mine. And me? I no longer chase approval from people who never intended to give it. The greatest revenge wasn't buying the company. It wasn't watching my former boss lose everything. It wasn't seeing my family regret their choices. The greatest revenge was proving that the person everyone underestimated was the only one who never gave up.